Today on Steelers Talk, I'm going to tell you the 8 things that the Pittsburgh Steelers can do on Sunday versus the Indianapolis Colts to destroy their Week 4 opponent. Before we get into it today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button because we do have our live watch party on Sunday. We have over 50,000 Yinzers in our chat room every single week for our live watch parties. This week, we start at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, an hour of pregame coverage, getting you ready for the matchup, then live play-by-play for every single snap, and then also don't forget about the extensive post-game coverage. We have Super Chat giveaways. We got all this great stuff. So if you want to join the largest Steelers live community here on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button right now and join us at 12 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So the first thing that the Steelers need to do to destroy the Colts is to get off to an early lead. All right, and that early lead is going to allow the defense to play free. It's going to allow the offense to play with confidence. If you can go out there and get an early lead, and last week against the Chargers, it wasn't a good start, right? 3 and out to start the game. Fields took a sack. The run game wasn't getting going. 2 straight punts to start the game. That's not the way that you want to start a football game. And if you can get out to an early lead in this one, that's going to allow you to do a lot of different things to really take it to the Indianapolis Colts and win this one by multiple scores. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. What will be the Steelers' final record this year? They start the year 3-0. Where will they finish? Whether that's with Justin Fields or Russell Wilson at quarterback, where do the Steelers finish record-wise here in 2024? This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know, what will be the final record for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year? Another thing the Steelers need to do this week that they did a really good job of last week against the Chargers is they need to limit penalties. First 2 weeks, it was abysmal. They were one of the most heavily penalized teams in the National Football League. In Week 3, they really made a big emphasis on getting those penalties cleaned up, and now they have to have that same approach here in Week 4. Penalties is one of those things that can allow a worse football team to win a football game. If you limit penalties, it makes it really tough for an inferior opponent, and I do believe the Colts are an inferior opponent, beat you on any given Sunday in the National Football League. Then we get to the other thing that has to deal with discipline here. The Steelers need to win the turnover battle, all right? And I'm not just talking about Justin Fields not turning the ball over like he did last week one time against the Chargers. I'd like to see him have no turnovers again in this one like he did in the first 2 weeks. But the defense needs to get after Anthony Richardson because we know Richardson and his decision-making can be spotty, and he will put the ball in danger. In just 3 weeks to start the season this year, Richardson already has 6 interceptions, and just last week against the Bears, he had 2 of some of the worst interceptions you will ever see. If you put this guy under duress in the pocket, he will make mistakes. The Steelers need to get that pressure on him, and they need to take advantage when he puts the ball in harm's way. So coming up here on Steelers Talk, more keys to destruction for the Pittsburgh Steelers to destroy the Indianapolis Colts. But before I break down the rest of the plan today, let's have a word from our sponsor here at BetUS. And you guys can use promo code Steelers125 at chatsports.com/bet to get a 125% deposit bonus to get you started with BetUS today. So here's how that works, guys. What does that mean, deposit bonus? That means, let's say you put in $100 for your bets on BetUS. That means BetUS is going to match your money 125% and give them back to you to use on your bets. So if you put in $100, you're going to have $225 additional dollars. That's $125 that BetUS gives back to you to use on your bets. It's a phenomenal deal if you love to put your money where your mouth is and you love to make some money on your football opinions and your takes. Go ahead and go to chatsports.com/bet right now and use promo code Steelers125 to get that deposit bonus today. Now let's get to Richardson here. Another note on Richardson is you got to make his life hell in terms of the pass rush, all right? We know that the Pittsburgh Steelers, through the first 3 weeks, they have shown that they have the best pass rush in the National Football League, led by T.J. Watt. Alex Highsmith has been great, even though he's injured right now. Cam Hayward has been really, really good. Nick Herbig has been really phenomenal as well. So they got to really do that this week in order to dominate this football game, okay? And we talked about it earlier. Richardson will put the ball in harm's way. And I'll also say this, man. The Colts offensive line is one of, if not the best in the National Football League through the first 3 weeks. If you can dominate this group like you dominated the first 3 teams that you played, this team in this pass rush is officially going to be unstoppable. If you can really dominate this football game up front. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't think there is a single offensive line that can stop this pass rush at all. Then we get to the next one here, contain the run. And this was the same thing last week against the Chargers, and they did a phenomenal job against J.K. Dobbins and that Chargers rushing attack, which coming into the day there in week 3 had just about 200 rushing yards per game. J.K. Dobbins was averaging over 130 rush yards per game. And what'd they stop him to? Just 67 rush yards in week 3. That's how good the Steelers are up front. Not only do they get after the quarterback, but they stop your running game and they make you one-dimensional, which of course helps out their pass rush even more. So that's why this Steelers defense is just generationally good, it feels like. So if they can stop the run, and I have a feeling they will, the Steelers are going to dominate in this football game defensively. Then we get to the offensive side of the ball here. I think the Steelers need to find a little bit of rhythm on the ground. Now, it sounds like Jaylen Warren won't be on the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers, so it'll be mostly Najee Harris. Cordero Patterson will get in there as well. But as a team right now, the Steelers are actually not very efficient as a rushing football team. Right now, just 3.6 yards per rush so far this season. I think they're like top 10 in total rushing yards per game, but that's because the Steelers have the second highest rushing rate in the league. The Steelers are running the football a ton this year, and right now they're ranking 28th in rushing efficiency. I want to get that number up this week against a kind of soft Indianapolis Colts front seven. Then we got to get George Pickens the football, man. Whenever you go up against a team that doesn't have a bona fide number one cornerback, the Colts are one of those teams, you got to work that connection with Justin Fields and George Pickens. Pickens is just such a dynamic talent with the ball in his hands. He can make those great catches down the field. You got to do whatever you can, man, to get this guy the football as many times as you can to dominate this football game. And then also, can Calvin Austin III and other wide receivers get involved? If you want to win this game by double digits, if you want to win this game by like 3 scores, for example, you're going to have more than just George Pickens. Pickens is going to be a big part of the game plan, but you're going to need a big catch or 2 or 3 or 4 from Calvin Austin III like he had last week against the Chargers. Who knows? Maybe Roman Wilson gets on the field this week. Maybe this week it's Scotty Miller's week. Who knows? Maybe Van Jefferson comes out of nowhere this week and really has a good one. But I think that Calvin Austin III showed last week that he is the second best receiving option that the Steelers have right now. And I think that he's going to be in line for yet another long touchdown here in week 4. So take a guess for me down there in the comment section. Will the Steelers win this week by double digits? You guys know my plan for destruction here. So do you think the Steelers will execute that plan this week? Give me a yes or a no. I certainly think there is a chance that the Steelers win by double digits in this one. That'll be it for today's edition of Steelers Talk, guys. Thank you to everybody that made it to the end of the show. Again, we're going to be going live Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern time for our Steelers Talk live watch party here in Week 4 to watch the Steelers get to 4-0 on the young campaign. Appreciate your guys' support. Click that subscribe button. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.